Okay, we're good.
Thank you, and thank you, everyone. And I so enjoyed what we just watched. I'll just introduce myself. I think I know most everyone on the line, but if not, my name is Cheryl Cortese. I'm a National Marketing Director with the Juice Plus Company, and have actually been that for now 32 and a half years. And it's just been my love affair with the world, I think is what you'd have to call it at this point, because it has been a total joy. I started at a time of great desperation financially, and it was something I was going to do part-time, and then it turned into something I just fell in love with. I loved every story I heard tonight, and really the stories you heard were as much training as they were informative. And the one thing that you can hear, I mean, if you just think about how you felt when you heard all of our speakers tonight, you certainly felt from them a great deal of passion. You felt their energy, you felt their love for what they do, all of those things. And every time I hear people talk about this, I get excited all over again as well myself. But people certainly are going to listen to the feeling, and that really is the basis of what our business is about, is the foundation of it. And I have to agree with you, Chris, your daughter is a roadrunner, okay? And I want to congratulate Chandria. She was one of the speakers on our conference, which was a home edition, as we all know this time. And Chandria, you did a great job. And everybody that, participated, whether they were watching or whether they were part of the conference itself, it takes all of us. And I think that's the beauty of what we do, is that it does take all of us. It's definitely, though, about the stories. And as you heard tonight, it's just that wonderful feeling, and I call it emotional revenue, that we gain from this. It's not only a place where we can look toward good health, because certainly for so many of us, and we have found that foundation of good health with Juice Plus, but it's also that joy of watching other people, their health journey and the difference that it makes, their financial journey and the relief that it brings, and the emotional revenue of the happiness that becomes, foundational for all of us as well. So tonight, I really wanted us to take this time. Last week, of course, we went over the compensation plan, and I will say this again, I don't think that there's ever been a time when we've been more relevant, or when our business has been one that's been more desirable, for so many obvious reasons. I think one of the words that you could write down as far as describing where we are right now from a business standpoint is we are in a very high demand market. High demand. It would be a great way to describe it when you share it with other people from a business standpoint. High demand, because we are what people are looking for. They're looking for a way, certainly, to protect their health. And I don't think people will ever, I've said this over the past few weeks, take their health for granted again, in any way, shape, or form. And I don't think people will ever want to be without a plan B. And we certainly provide both of those things. With that said, though, from a business standpoint, we want to look at how we can utilize what I have really a very precious time as we are all at home. And we can reach each other and reach out to each other. And even though we'd like to be in person, the fact that we can really be support to one another, I think is very, very powerful. But for everybody on this line, I know you're here because you want to be able to access your business at the highest level, to take full advantage of the potential that's available, and then be able to share and teach that to others. I truly believe this to be a teaching profession. It's a sharing profession, of course, as you heard so many say, and I heard Chris say it for sure, it's a business of relationships. But it's also a business of education, and being able to give people and teach people those skills that are so powerful. The skill of just communication, the skill of working not only been a great value to those of us who have learned that discipline, because it does bring freedoms with it, but it also requires discipline to be able to share and teach that. And then, of course, just the community that we have and how important community is and being connected to one another. So one of the things I wanted to do this evening was get some input from you all. As we get started, I have a number of things I'd like to talk about, but I also realize that we're ongoing here together over the weeks and months to come. We really want to thank Carol and Josh and Carol Turnbow and Josh Duhan. You know, they've been, it started this call, it's been over 2 years ago now, and it really has created a space for us to come together as a group. Our numbers are of, you know, the sort that there are a lot of folks showing up, but still we're an intimate enough group to be able to have question and answer time, you know, from time to time, and really get a feel for what you would like to have information on. You know, I've got the basic things that I feel like are really important to developing a business, but I think every now and then it's a good idea to ask what you might want to, you know, delve into from a business standpoint, what you would like to hear more of. Also, we did go over the compensation plan last time, so I wanted to answer any questions that anybody might have. And I'll say this about the compensation plan. You know, the first time I heard it, the second time, the 45th time I heard it, it was still a confusion. The beauty is that they're going to pay you regardless whether you understand it or not. But, you know, really for that confidence that comes from really knowing and understanding how your business works, we want to really develop that through understanding that pay plan as time goes on here. So first, let me just ask, and you certainly, we can be interactive here. From just a business standpoint, and then we'll talk about the pay plan afterwards. Is there any particular topic that you would like me to delve into as we go over the next, you know, weeks and months? Because I want to make sure that you're getting also what you feel you need as well. Anybody want to give me any input on that?
Yeah, I've got one, Aunt Cheryl. I would like a training series on recruiting in terms of moving a new prospect from one exposure to the next exposure to the next exposure until the recruiting process is ended.
Okay, and you know, that's a great topic, and it's one of my favorite is team development, because your business really will form a pattern of development or a rhythm, you might say, and once you really identify what that rhythm is like, then it's something that becomes second nature to you. So the number of exposures and, you know, what happens when it's happening correctly. And so we'll definitely, that could be 3 training classes in itself, but you know, that is very important because it's basic to what we do. If you think about it, we are really in the business of team development, where our whole goal is to reach the consumer. Not any one of us could do that alone. That's why this business model works so well. So if you think about it, your job description is that you want to, you know, reach out and put your arms around the world. And in doing that, you can only do that with our product through team members. As Elton DeBose, is one of our senior vice presidents, said, you know, look at your business, how many boots in the street do you have? You know, and so it's really developing that team. So exposures and team growth. And the other thing I truly believe too is that even as people grow up through our compensation plan and grow into national marketing director, there's always, you might say, that reinforcement of and strengthening. And some people call it, you know, continued recruiting of the people who are already on your team. But I like to refer to it as just staying closely connected to constantly solidify that growth and development with the person that you're helping and that they're helping and that they're helping. So those would be important topics to talk about. And I think that would be a great series, and I can certainly put that together. Anybody else, anything that you would like, and we'll take 2 or 3 here that would, you know, or 4, whatever, to take us through, as I said, the next few weeks and months to make sure we've got we've got you covered. Okay, anybody else would like to give me any input on what they would like to hear?
Cheryl, at one point in one of your trainings recently, you talked about, you were going to talk about the closes. And you said that you start closing the very first time you speak to someone. I thought that was very powerful for new people to know that this all kind of flows into our end result.
Okay, and that is a very important aspect of team development, is closing, and that it really is, you know, when you start talking, the first thing you say, you're already closing. So we would definitely. Else, anything that you would like to need to make a little note about here? Okay, anyone? Don't all scream at me at one time now. Okay. Okay, well, I could keep you busy for about, 6 weeks on this one, and then we could start a repeat, because really and truly, there is just a few simple disciplines that if done correctly and done over and over and over, then you wind up with massive business that covers the globe. And I think that's the greatest thing about our business. It's very simple, but simplicity is usually what throws people off. We grow up in a world where they say you need to go to school so long to get a job over here to, and you think something has to be hard to be prosperous. And that's not the case here. It just needs to be disciplined and consistent and with a heart for people. And if that's there, and those basic skills, which really are covered in just exactly what's been asked for, which is, good, consistent team development and team growth, then, it's going to be something that you not only will pass on to others as far as a skill, but you'll grow massive organizations at the same time. So now let's go to talking just a little bit about the compensation plan. I have it up here. I can screen share it, and we'll see what questions you might have. And I'll talk a little bit also about just the strategy that you want to put in place from day one for yourself, and then strategy to help team grow. Because, there's the function of gathering the team, and then there's the function of growing the team. And we're in, as I said, just it's unusual and it's unique as far as the climate. I think I heard somebody refer to it as the climate. Maybe that was Chris as well. But we're in a climate that's really unusual, but right now it's very advantageous to home-based business. And so you would want to utilize this to the greatest extent. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that foundation as well in those first 4 positions. But I'm going to go to the pay plan and see if I can screen share here. And of course, we know the products are very focused, which is another huge advantage when you're talking to people about your business. Our products are simple. Obviously, just from the stories you've heard, and the stories are your foundation. And we're going to I'll continue to do training series on stories and the power of stories, because that is the foundation of your business. If you had a restaurant, the foundation would be you got to get the food in the restaurant to have a business. Well, the stories are what, are the food for our business. So very focused product line, very simple, not anything that requires a lot of, deep or technical information or anything of that nature. That's a real plus and has been a huge thing as far as our success. But I'm going to see if I can go through here right quick. We're going to pull up enough to get that foundation, or at least get the mark them, see if I can move through it. I probably quickly here. It seems to have frozen on me. Okay. I just get to where I've got at least these first 4 positions up here. Should have had that page already positioned. I apologize for that. But at this point, let me just get a few questions from you all, because as I said, we went through this last time, and I will continue to go through the whole thing as time goes on. These are the 4 basic positions, of course, as we know, in the compensation plan. And of course, the goal is to grow up to the whole plan and reach national marketing director. But let's start and just see what questions some of you might have, and let me see where to go with that. And if not, I can talk about this as well. Anybody? And don't be shy. Let's see if you've got any questions.
Cheryl,
Okay,
it's Cheryl.
just have to unmute. Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's Marilyn Del Duca from Delaware. Can you talk a little bit about, you know, I understand this basic part, but could you talk a little bit about what it means when you qualify your business in terms of your income? What it means when you promote someone out, when you qualify for that 3% for the promote out bonus and the performance bonus. Could you talk a little more about that, please?
Okay. I'm just going to make a note here, because this again might be a whole training in itself. And when, when you promote out others. Okay. And these are important because in itself, and I would definitely do that. Because qualifying is a very important part of your business. But I'm going to go through this and talk about where that becomes important to qualify your business. And, vision is for a structure for your business. And we definitely will take a whole 30-minute segment for just this one question you've asked, okay? Because it's quite detailed and it's quite important. Let me just see if anybody else has any other questions so that I can get a feel for this, because I really want to put together something, during this week, so that when we come back next week, we'll have a schedule that will, have an outline form of exactly how we're going to go through this. Okay.
I was thinking,
Anybody else? Any questions on the pay plan that you would like for me to address as time
Yes.
goes on?
it's Chandria. I was thinking, trying to get maybe a better grasp on how to go wide. I know you have the little smiley faces and going wide, really getting a grasp of that. It kind of sometimes I get it and then sometimes I don't. I think I just need to keep reviewing it, but just really the emphasis on when you go wide, that 3 times 3 and the 9 times 9.
Okay, so, we're just talking about the exponential growth, how that happens. Is that one of the things you're asking me?
Yes.
How that happens with exponential growth, and why go wide and how to go wide. Okay. And all this, merges together. If we talk about, development of your business, the team development, recruiting, again, some people like the word recruiting, some, are offended by it. Team development sometimes feels better, but it's really inviting people to partner with you, how to, all of this will come together at some point where, you're realizing that you're inviting people to partner. How are you closing? How does this work as far as your strategy so that this plan pays you at the highest level? All of those things really, as we go through all of it, it's to relate it back to each other. And that's why I really appreciate the questions, because it helps me get a vision so that I can help you. I've been looking at this for 32 years. Okay. So sometimes, I take for granted things that I've learned over time that, I just feel like are intrinsic and that everybody would know them. That's why the questions for me are important. Thank you, Chandria. Anybody else? Any other questions you would like for me to address as we go through this over the weeks to come?
Hey, Cheryl, it's
Anybody?
Celine.
Don't be shy.
So one of the things that it might be more
Say
advanced.
again.
So can you hear me okay? You can't hear me? This is Celine. Can you hear?
third. Let me try again. Go ahead. Okay.
So one of the things that I think is helpful sometimes is when someone tells you, I want to make so much a month, and you have to come up with a plan to show them financially what they need to do structure wise.
Cheryl, are you hearing that okay? Oh.
Uh-oh.
I think she was freezing. She was going in and out.
Let me hold on, now she's muted.
It's a real good question, too. It's a real good question.
Okay.
Yes,
Cheryl,
it is.
you hearing okay?
Yeah, I can y'all hear me? I'm going to see if I can get back to the screen share. Let me just see.
Yeah, I want to second that question. $1,000 a month business.
All right. Yeah.
Training point. Everybody wants to make that grand a month. So really high.
And that's something definitely for us to investigate and get really good, you know, at talking about that 1,000 a month. Let me see if I can get back to the screen share. I thought I already had it up there. I'm gonna try to do something here. If I lose it all, I'll come back. I don't want to leave the meeting.
Down at the bottom in the middle where it says share screen, you got that part up?
I did, but I have the screen still behind me. I'm going to try to do this. Let me see if I can push this over to the side. No, I don't want to leave meeting, cancel. Let me see if I can pull my screen. What are y'all seeing right now?
We see everybody.
You see everybody? You're not seeing my screen anymore with the marking plan?
Uh-oh, she's freezing.
She is.
Let's see if I
She must have a bad connection
can
tonight.
get that. Okay.
There we go.
Now do you see my screen?
Now,
Okay,
now we see
page 11 still?
Yep, you're good. Yep.
Is it page? I'm page 11. Okay. So the $1,000 a month is definitely something we want to work on, and where and how a person grows into that. Okay.
one other thing.
Anybody else?
Can I have one more question? I'm using up my questions for the night.
Okay.
How about PVC to paycheck? Looking at your PVC and be able to calculate your paycheck.
Okay.
And that's it.
This is one we used to do a lot in times past, which it's interesting because we'll get on a kick where we'll do, definitely if you're looking at your PVC report. And I think for a lot of people, just reading the PVC report would be something that would be an important training as well. Because it is your snapshot of everything that's going on in your business at all times. So the PVC report and the 12-month analysis, one of the things I would encourage everybody to do, when your business first starts, you know everybody that's in it, okay? And you're going to know the people you've asked to partner with you that do and the ones they have, and you're kind of got your hands in all of it right in the beginning. But as time goes on, you won't know the people, So if you can start really getting familiar on your virtual office with your PVC report, and I still have a tendency, I still print them out all the time because I like to write on it. I like to notes on the side. I like to have that there when I speak to the people who are on the team that, I'm working with. And this is one that I truly think is promoting to QSSC. I've been over this one today. So, and hopefully we'll have that to share next week. It's very important for you and your team members to become very familiar with that PVC report really early on while you still know the people who are on it, because then the activity will make sense to you because you'll be involved in it on a daily basis. So that's another really important one. Y'all are going to keep me busy here for now this is 3 months at least, okay? So who else has got something they would like to investigate, know more about, feel like they'd like more conversation or training on? Anybody?
Cheryl, this is Roxy. I don't have a question right now because all those questions are wonderful, but I do have a brand new partner on tonight. She just signed her application today, so I'm excited that she gets to see you and learn all this wonderful stuff you're sharing.
Well, introduce your partner to us.
Deborah Katrina. is in there somewhere. And she grew up in Malala, which is where I'm from. And we knew each other probably 40, 50 years ago. Back when we were in school, she went to school with some of my cousins and my brother. And anyways, she saw my Tower Garden post and was very interested and is excited about being able to share with other people and knows that health is the message that everybody needs to hear right now.
We want to really welcome her tonight. Welcome to the Juice Plus family and welcome to our team. It's a real honor to have you with us. And that leads me to another question. What about utilizing this time that whenever we do come together on Thursday night, either at the beginning of my training or maybe at the beginning of the meeting, do we want to introduce new team members? I think that would be a wonderful way to recognize and not only honor the person that's invited them, but welcome the new team member as well. We got a thumbs up on that. We have suggestions on that. Okay, great.
I think that's a great idea, Cheryl. It's very more personable too, because you're on the call with us. We hear you on the Monday night call, but you're right in front of us and we see you. So I think that's very personable. I think that's a great idea. Thank you.
And also, it's wonderful. We have about 70 people on this call, which is great. And, we always wanted to keep growing, but we're usually running about 800 on the Monday night call. Of course, we've been doing that for 30 years, but it's impossible, I
don't know what's happening with our friend Cheryl.
want me to do it.
You're going in and out over here.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll do it then. We'll start doing that. But when I start the call, we'll take the first 3 or 4 minutes on my segment, and then we'll introduce new team members, okay? And if you've not been introduced and you're relatively new, let's do that next week as well, okay? So,
Could I congratulate someone also?
Yes.
Lane is on here tonight, and I can't even tell you how proud I am of her. She fast-tracked to QSC during the pandemic, and literally this team was off to an awesome start, and then the pandemic happened, and they literally had one event right before the pandemic, and had gotten tons of orders. So I want to congratulate her tonight.
Well, Cheryl, it's Beth Meyer, and I would actually like to do the same. I'd like to welcome a new distributor, Sybil Burke. She is new and she earned her QSC, and she has her new team member, Jeannie, on the phone. So that all happened in the last 2 weeks. So congratulations and welcome to Sybil, who's on here tonight.
Congratulations, absolutely. So we have a lot going on here. Well, great. As the beginning of the trainings, as I start, I'll do that each time. Okay, so really good. Quite a lineup of activities.
Cheryl, you're cutting in and out.
You all feel like you want or need, if you can, because I feel like we're an intimate enough group.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's my own internet.
Cheryl, if you unshare your screen, you may get better.
I think either I'm.
Let me see if I can unshare her.
Yeah, if she unshares her screen, she may get a better.
I'm going to stop it. Just since I can host, I can take her off of that and see if that helps. Yeah, she's totally froze. Well, thought maybe she'd come back in. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So here's what we're gonna do. I think, what time is it?
It's 9:35.
Yeah, I think we're gonna go ahead and I feel bad. I can't even, it won't even let me stop sharing her, and she's completely frozen. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording.